Tomorrow is the big showdown in the CAF World Cup qualification playoff series. It is Nigeria versus Gabon. The Super Eagles of Nigeria versus the Panthers of Gabon. In this video, I will preview the game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria versus the Panthers of Gabon. But before I dive into the preview of this crunch encounter of the World Cup playoff between Nigeria and Gabon, quickly, in my previous video where I said Super Eagles playoff has been hijacked. In that video, I got a lot of comments. Some were backlashes and some were actually more about the game. And that is just what football is all about. And the video actually went down well with some quarter of the viewers, and some South African fans did not actually think that video went down with them. So I got some couple of comments, probably from the South African fans, or probably it might just be football lovers that view things separately. And one of the comments I got in that particular video was this. And the person is at Bridget Mosien. He said, the problem with Nigeria is that they think South Africa are success like them. If they are soccer powerhouse, prove it in the field. They struggle against minnows like Lesotho. We are getting our house in order rather than relying on Europeans to develop local talents. And we are reaping the rewards. They have done a lot of bad things against our nation, yet we still share residence with them. But God is just. Well, I appreciate at Bridge, if I pronounce that well, at Bridge Mosien, I appreciate you for this comment. But let me start by letting you know that football is a game of sport. And as such, one thing I enjoy more about football is that it has this power to unite us more than it can divide us. In football, there is rivalry, and in football, banters are allowed. But in a situation whereby banters are stretched to becoming insult, it's no longer banter. And as such, we are all brothers, we are African brothers, and I don't think we should be trading insult. I understand the context of your use of words, that they think South Africans are sutsy like them. My dear, we are talking about football here. We are brothers. We are talking about football. And as such, we should leave insult out of it. One good point you actually made here, which I personally appreciate very well, is that you said that the South Africans are actually building their football locally, and as such, it has yielded results, while Nigerians depend on Europeans to develop local talents. I agree with you 100%. And the more reason that video you watch prompted what I did. You see, the major problem of Africa as a continent, I am an African, we all are Africans, we are brothers. And that's why I say football should unite us more than it should divide us. And we shouldn't allow political office holder to use their comment, to bring their comment into football, and as such trying to create division. So I actually appreciate that comment you made, that football in South Africa is developing locally. 100%, I appreciate that, and I actually like that. And that is what I long to see in many African countries. We have what it takes to build our talent. We have what it takes to compete favorably well with other nations in the world. So, on that side, you are 100% correct. In my opinion, you are right. Because we have everything. If we claim we are powerhouse in football, like you said, we are not claiming. It is something we have shown over past. Nigerians don't claim to be firepower of football in Africa. But this is something you also, if you are a football follower, you've seen the track record, you know what this is all about. We might not have been there yet due to what? Bad leadership, bad administrative leadership. But then we are getting there. And I am not speaking in particular to Nigeria alone. This is a problem that generally we Africans are facing. So I appreciate your comment. Thank you very much. And we ought to unite more with our comments, with our words, than using more of abusive words when we are talking football. And like I said earlier, banter is allowed in football, but we shouldn't stretch it beyond bantering to become insult. Another comment I got from that post was this: Gabon is not a walkover, brother. Nigeria is going to Morocco for a hiding. They put themselves in that mess. Stop blaming SA for being stuck in the mud. Actually, that is true, bro. Gabon is not a walkover. Gabon is not a walkover. I agree that with you 100%, because football is evolving, and every day we see some of these countries coming up. You might actually say we put ourselves in the mud. Yes, 100% we did. Because being in the same group with South Africa, and South Africa qualifying against the Super Eagles of Nigeria, in my opinion, is a slap to us, because we have everything it should have taken for us to be on top of the group and qualify automatically. You are 100% correct if you said we are being stuck in the mud. That is not where the Super Eagles is supposed to be. We are not supposed to be struggling for the playoff rounds in the World Cup qualifying series. But like you said, it's going to be a very tough match, because Gabon is not a walkover with the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is actually going to captain the team. Gabon is one team that have actually tried so hard to actually participate or compete in the World Cup, but that is still a very big dream that is far away from them. They have tried severally to qualify. The best qualifying campaign Gabon has had in their national team history was the qualification series en route to South Africa 2010. They got to the final round of the competition, of the qualifying rounds, but then they were behind Cameroon in second place. They actually had good runs in 2014 and in 2022, but they never actually advanced to compete. So they are still in search of their first World Cup appearance as a nation. So I wouldn't write them off, because in this modern age, football is evolving. We have seen other countries that have actually come from nowhere to qualify to next year's World Cup ahead of the big names we've actually known in Africa. Nobody would have thought that Cape Verde would come from nowhere and qualify ahead of the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. So football is evolving, and like I said, it's going to be a big showdown in Morocco starting tomorrow in that semi-final match between Nigeria versus Gabon. So I appreciate you for your comment. Big ups to you at Selumo Nama. I guess I pronounced your name very well. It was interesting reading your comment from my video. The next comment I actually got from that video is this, and this person went on to say, "Shut up, you hijacked this playoff instead. It was to be Burkina Faso who qualified. You think you know everything. Just shut up and play." When I read this, my friend's comment at Kenneth Setal, I actually laughed. But at Kenneth Setal, I know you will still see this video. If people like us are not here to enlighten you when it comes to football, people like you will still remain in the dark. But like you said, let me just clear that. I am not thinking to be one who knows everything, because I know nothing. And Nigerians are not people who think to know everything. But one thing I must tell you about Nigerians is that Nigerians are well-read people. So they are more broadened when it comes to knowledge in whatever they want to talk or discuss about. That is just on a lighter note of it. Now, I have to clear this once again, because if you have watched my previous video, you'll see where I actually break down this qualification thing that happens in the group phase of the World Cup qualification in Africa. Now, Burkina Faso was in Group A alongside Egypt. Egypt picked the ticket automatically. Burkina Faso finished second in that group with 21 points, scoring 23 goals and conceding 8. Nigeria was in Group C. Nigeria finished with 17 points, scoring 15 goals and conceding 8. Now, this is where the rules apply. Let's not forget, Eritrea, they withdrew from the World Cup qualification, placing their excuses on logistic. But then, this is what happened. The World Cup qualification actually went on, and that means Group E, where Eritrea is supposed to be part of, becomes only 5 countries. So, in the wake of the qualification, those that finished top of their group qualified to the World Cup automatically. And if you watch that video I made previously, prior to this one, about the African qualification, I actually said a big congratulations to every African countries that qualified from the group to next year's World Cup, and which means they worked so hard and they actually deserved it. And I particularly mentioned South Africa. I said congratulations to South Africa. They took advantage of the poor administrative work of the Super Eagles to actually book their place in the World Cup. Good and fine. Administrative wise, we were not there. Okay, administrative wise, we were not there, and that is what affected our players going into this particular game. Not that we don't have the talent, we have the talent, we have the squad, we have the stars. You can see the big names of Nigerian players making things happen in their various clubs. Absolutely, they are doing fantastically well. But then, like you said, we didn't hijack the playoff. Okay, I used that word in my previous video that Super Eagles playoff is about to be hijacked. I knew what I meant. Put yourself in my shoe. If you were in Nigeria and I am South Africa and I'm to play this playoff and they bring a Nigerian referee who happen to be in the same group with South Africa, I don't know if you are going to take that. As a South African, you will complain as well. So we only have a voice to say that this is not right. This is not right. Judging by the statement that was said by your sport ministers, in as much I know that his statement doesn't hold water because it was just a comment he actually made. That was his opinion. But then, let me clear you why Nigeria qualified from that group and were not favored. So like I said earlier, Burkina Faso in Group A finished behind the Egyptian national team and they had 21 points, scoring 23 goals and conceded 8 goals. So in the wake of the qualification, after the withdrawal of Eritrea from the competition, the rule states that in the event of trying to determine the best losers, the best runner-up teams, points will be deducted from the team that finished last in the group. And that was what actually happened. The rule was set even before this actually happened. So Nigeria didn't make the rule. So what happened? Djibouti finished last in Group A, where Burkina Faso actually played, right? Burkina Faso defeated Djibouti by 10 goals to 1 on aggregate, 6-0 at home, 4-1 away. And that makes it they have plus 9 goal difference. They got plus 9 goal difference from Burkina Faso. And what happened there? This is where the rules comes in. Now they finish with 21 points. Deduct 6 points because they beat Djibouti home and away. Deduct 6 points from 21. You're going to get 15 points. Now the plus 9 goal difference they had. Deduct 9 from the 23 goals they actually scored. You'll be left with 14 goals. Now let's find their goal difference because they actually conceded 8 goals. And 14 minus 8 will now give us 6. Meaning they have 15 points and plus 6 goals. Nigeria finished second in Group C, where South Africa actually finished top and qualified automatically. Big up and big respect to South Africa for a job well done. So, finishing second in that group, Zimbabwe finished last in Group C, and Nigeria and Zimbabwe played a draw, both home and away. So, that simply means you will deduct 2 points from Nigeria's 17 points. That left Nigeria with 17 points. We scored 15 goals and conceded 8. So 15 minus 8 will give us 7. That actually means that Nigeria have 15 points with plus 7 goals. Alongside with Cameroon that finished also second in the group of Cape Verde. They finished behind Cape Verde. I haven't done also the deduction. Cameroon have 15 points with plus 9. So that actually made the 4 teams that qualified to the playoff to be Gabon, DR Congo, Cameroon, and Nigeria. Cameroon, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso had 15 points, but were separated by goal difference. Cameroon had plus 9 as goal difference, while the Super Eagles of Nigeria had plus 7, and Burkina Faso had plus 6. So my very good friend, Kenneth Sefal, I believe I have actually made that clear for you. We didn't hijack it. Just like some people also said in the comment, FIFA or CAF did not favor the Super Eagles. It is just the rule of the game that actually played out, and Nigeria happened to actually, and the rule actually favored Nigeria after points deduction from various runner-up in the group phase. So once again, like I said, congratulations to every team that finished automatically from the World Cup qualification phase in the African series. Now going into the playoff for the best losers that begins tomorrow. It's a playoff of game between Clash of the Titan, if I must use that, because it's going to be a big game. Talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria versus Gabon national team. And that means the Super Eagles versus the Panthers. Victor Osimhen versus Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's going to be a very big match. That is for sure. And previously, both teams, both Nigeria and Gabon, don't have much history when it comes to head-to-head meeting between them in the World Cup qualifying series. They've actually had a couple of friendly matches. They have met twice in the World Cup qualifying series and once in the Nations Cup. And the first time they met was in 1989. FIFA World Cup qualifying series, where Nigeria defeated Gabon 1-0 in Nigeria and went away, and Gabon defeated Nigeria by 2-1. Fast forward to 2004, where they actually met again in the World Cup qualifying series. Nigeria met Gabon in October of 2004, played Gabon away from home, and it was a 1-1 draw in the national team of Gabon. In June 2005, I think this was en route to 2006 World Cup that was hosted by Germany. Nigeria defeated Gabon by 2-0. That's just it. We met once in the African Cup of Nations game, and that was in 1994. Nigeria met Gabon in the African Cup of Nations, where we defeated Gabon by 3-0. So, Gabon, in as much as currently football has evolved, has not been a problem to Super Eagles. But then, as we go into this game tomorrow, it's going to be a big game because football is evolving. Football has evolved and is still evolving. We have seen Gabon actually put up a very good performance in the group phase of the World Cup qualifying matches. But the unfortunate thing there was that they have Ivory Coast in their group. That was, that was just at their best, and they qualified automatically from that group with 23 points, and Gabon finished with 22 points. It was a good run. They contested very well, but it was just unfortunate. Their 22 points couldn't get them through to couldn't give them the automatic slot to be in the World Cup next year. They have to go through this route. And one of the big tests for them is this playoff match against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, coming into this game, head-to-head between, if we take a look at the previous 4 matches that the Super Eagles of Nigeria have actually played, the last one being the last group match of the qualifying series, where we defeated Benin Republic by 4-0. We went away to defeat Lesotho by 2-1. We drew 1-1 with South Africa. That was in September of 2025. And we defeated Rwanda at the Gospel Aquabio Stadium 1-0. So Nigeria's 4 last match, we've actually won 3 and drew 1. The same thing to the Gabon national team, led by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Their last 4 games, I've actually seen them. They've won 4 and drew 1. Their last qualifying match against Burundi saw them defeated Burundi by 2-0. They went away even with 10 men to defeat Gambia by 4-0. That was a cracker of a match. I actually watched that particular game. Then they played a goalless draw against the Ivory Coast national team. That was where Gabon actually missed out. If they had defeated Ivory Coast in their national team stadium, they would have been top of the group. But that was where they actually slipped by failing to defeat the Ivory Coast national team. And also, they went away to defeat Seychelles by 4-0. So, coming into this game, in this particular encounter, both the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Panthers of Gabon have been in a very good run of form. Now, going into this game, the Super Eagles coach, talking about Eric Chelle, have actually released names of players for this particular encounters. And these were the names released by the head coach. The goalkeepers were Stanley Nwabali, Maduka Okoye, and Hamas Obasoji. The defenders are William Truss Ekong, the team captain, Oluwasimilaya Ajayi, Bright Osai Samuel, Calvin Bassi, Zaidu Sanusi, Benjamin Frederick, Bruno Onyemachi, and Chidozie Awazien. The midfielders are Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Indidi, Frank Onyeka, Raphael Onyedika, and Alhassan Yusuf, while the forward led by Victor Osimhen, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze, Ademola Lukman, Tolu Arukodare, Ako Adams, Olakunle Olusegun, and Chidera Ejuke. So those are the squad that the Super Eagles national team head coach released for the competition in Morocco, the playoff matches. So having looked at this, I have not been privileged to see the match preview of the Super Eagles national team going into this particular encounter. But with this particular team list that Eric Schelle have actually released, I think I will make my selected 11 from it. That is my predicted 11. I don't know what will be your predicted 11. You can drop it in the comments. Let's see. So, going into this game, I will go with a 4-2-3-1 formation for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. In goal, of course, will be Stanley Nwabali. The centre back, I will go with William Truss Ekong and Calvin Bassi. And the right back, I will go with Benjamin Frederick. And the left back, I will go with Zaidu Sanusi. So, in the 2 pivots, talking about the midfield pivot, I will go with Alex Iwobi and Wilfred Ndidi. While the attacking midfield trio, talking about the 3 attacking midfielders, the right wing, I will go with Samuel Chukwueze. who actually had a very good game against the Benin Republic in our last group phase match. Behind Victor Osimhen, who will be the point man, I will go with Akko Adams, who actually had a good game. And the left wing, I will go with the current African Footballer of the Year. That was quite a very tough selection to make from that left side, because we also have Moses Simon, who had a very good game against Benin Republic in our last match in the group phase. So the selection for the left wing it's going to be quite a tough one, because you have Ademola Lookman and you have Moses Simon. And up front, of course, will be Victor Osimhen, the Galatasaray superstar. Currently, he is the highest goal scorer in the UEFA Champions League with 6 goals. And Kylian Mbappe, Helen Haaland, and Harry Kane all have 5 goals. So coming into this game is definitely going to be a tough one. And as such, we need our best leg. So this will be my predicted 11. What will be your own predicted 11 for the Super Eagles of Nigeria going into this particular game? So like I said, let me just repeat that. In goal will be Stanley Nwabali. The centre-back pairing will be William Chus, Ekong, and Kevin Bassey. The right back, I will go with Benjamin Frederick. And the left back will be Zaidu Sanusi. The midfield pivots, I will go with Alex Iwobi and Wilfred Ndidi. While the attacking midfield throw, the right wing, I will go with Samuel Chukwueze. The left wing, I will go with Ademola Lookman. And the attacking midfield center, I will go with Akko Adams. And up front will be Victor Osimhen. With this selection, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have nothing to panic than to go all out and defeat the Panthers of Gabon. So, who will make your own Super Eagles predicted 11 for tomorrow's encounter against the Panthers of Gabon? Drop your thoughts down below. Predictions. In as much as it's going to be a very tough game, because I don't know much of the Gabonese national team. I just know Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, a very dangerous striker. You can give it to him anytime, any day. One man who have actually done the color of Borussia Dortmund, the color of Arsenal, and currently I think he's in Marseille. At some time it was he went on a loan last season and played for one Saudi Arabian club, and back again to Olympic Marseille. So I must say we have what it takes to defeat the Panthers of Gabon. My prediction for this game: I see Nigeria defeating Gabon by 3-1, and of course, Victor Osimhen, the star man, will definitely be in the score sheets. What will be your prediction going into this particular encounter? Drop your thoughts down below. And before I round up, to my South African friends and brothers, for any of you who felt offended in my previous video, I never meant it that way. What I do in this channel is that I analyze football, undiluted analysis of football, and I give my own opinion. I don't claim to know it well. I don't claim to know it all. We all are learning. Your comment is what makes me learn every day. Thank you very much, but I want to assure you one thing. We all are Africans. Football unites us more than it can divide us. I love you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you all in my next video.